On the edge of a lush green forest, where the sun's rays filtered through the leaves of the trees to create golden patterns on the ground, a small world existed. A world of insects and creatures. In that same world lived a hard-working ant named Chinky and a carefree grasshopper named Gugu. Chinky was very wise and hardworking. She would wake up even before the sun rose in the morning. She would walk quickly on her tiny legs and set out to collect grains of food. She knew that after summer, the cold winter would come, and at that time, finding food would be very difficult. On the other hand, Gugu the grasshopper was of a completely different nature. He loved singing songs, jumping around, and relaxing in the sun. Every day, he would sing songs in his sweet voice and make his friends dance along too. One day, while Chinky was carrying a large grain to her home, Gugu saw her and said with a laugh, "Hey Chinky, you're always working. Try to enjoy life a little bit. Come, sing and dance with me." Chinky smiled and said, "Gugu, now is the time for work. I have to gather food for the winter. If I don't work hard now, I'll face trouble later." Gugu replied carelessly, "Oh, winter is still a long way off. We'll see when it gets here. Just have fun for now." And then he sat on a tree branch and started singing a song. Days went by. Chinky continued to work hard every day. Sometimes she'd collect grains, sometimes dry leaves, and sometimes small seeds. She had built a small storehouse inside her home, which was slowly filling up. Meanwhile, Gugu would sing every day, lie in the sun, and play with his friends. He felt that life was just for today. There's no need to worry about tomorrow. One day, the old butterfly Rangili, who lived in the forest, explained to Gugu, "Son, balance is necessary in life. Playing and singing are good, but preparing for the future is just as important." Gugu said with a laugh, "Grandma, you talk just like Chinky does. I just want to be happy." Rangili the butterfly shook her head and slowly flew away. Time passed by. Gradually, the weather began to change. Cold winds started to blow. Leaves began to fall from the trees, and the sun's warmth faded. This was a sign that winter was approaching. Chinky had completed all of her work. Her home was now filled with food. She was satisfied and ready for the winter, but Gugu still didn't have any worries. He was still singing songs. However, his voice no longer had the same energy as before because the weather was getting cold. Then one day, winter arrived in full force. Snow began to fall, cold winds intensified, and it became very difficult to go outside. Gugu now realized how difficult it had become to find food. He searched everywhere, but he couldn't find anything to eat. His condition began to deteriorate. Hungry and shivering from the cold, Gugu reached Chinky's house. He gently knocked on the door. "Who is it?" Chinky asked from inside. "It's me," the grasshopper said in a weak voice. Chinky opened the door and was shocked to see Gugu's condition. "Oh, Gugu, you look so weak. Come inside." Gugu came in and said shyly, "Chinky, I didn't listen to you. Now I have nothing left to eat. Can you help me?" Chinky thought for a moment, then smiled and said, "Gugu, it's my duty to help. But you have to understand one thing." Gugu bowed his head and said, "Yes, now I understand how important it is to work hard. I wasted time and now I'm paying the price for it." Chinky gave him food and told him to sit in a warm corner. Days passed by. Gugu slowly began to recover. He would now sit and talk with Chinky and understand her ways of working. One day he said, "Chinky, I want to change now. When winter is over, I will also work hard like you." Chinky said happily, "That's a very good thing, Gugu. But remember, in life, it's not just work. A little joy is also necessary." Gugu smiled. "Yes, now I've learned to maintain a balance." Finally, winter ended and the spring season arrived. New leaves began to appear on the trees. Flowers bloomed and the air was filled with fragrance. Gugu had now completely changed. He would wake up in the morning and work with Chinky, collect food grains, and also organize his home. But he didn't stop singing. Now he would sing in the evening when all his work was finished. One day, all the creatures of the forest gathered together. Gugu sang a new song, in which he put his lesson into words. "The fruit of hard work is sweet. Understand the value of time, brother. The seeds you sow today will become the harvest tomorrow." All the animals clapped. Chinky was smiling with pride. The colorful butterfly also came there and said, "See, Gugu, you've learned how important balance is in life." Gugu said, "Yes, Grandma. Now I understand that just living for today isn't right, but one should also prepare for the future." From that day on, a new story became famous in the forest. the new story of the ant and the grasshopper. This story teaches children that working hard is very important. One should value time and maintain balance in life. Gugu and Chinky had now become the best of friends. They worked together, laughed together, and learned new lessons of life together. And whenever any new child asked them, "What should we do?" then both would say together, "Work hard today so that you can be happy tomorrow."
Children, if you like the story, then please make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any more stories.